Well, hey everybody, good evening. How are you? Francine, you with us? There she is.
I am. Good evening. How's
The
everyone
birthday
doing?
girl. How's your birthday?
It's going like this. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, listen, we're doing this Facebook Live, so like this is reaching like 500 million people right now. It's your birthday. Everybody in the world knows it's your birthday.
Perfect. Sounds like a great idea to me. Cheers to everyone, all
I'm not
500 million of you.
uh, I'm not going to sing to you again. We sang this morning on our 6 a.m. club, so everybody with their coffee throats and their pajamas on and their bad hair and all that stuff. But anyway, it was a good morning. Well, listen, we're live as well, so you're going to keep an eye on the live for us, and we're going to dive right in here. So we're right back to where we all start. We're back to lesson one. So for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, every week we run a lesson here, quick 30-minute call or so, and just talking about some of the key points of each of the principles in thinking into results. And everything starts with your goals. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And so let's just get into it. And I'm going to I like working from the workbook here. I've got the workbook in front of me. I put a few slides together, but I'm going to talk from that. And you can, of course, you all have your own workbook. There's a digital version. You're able to download the full workbook in a PDF, or you can actually print out the entire chapter of each of the lessons on the lesson pages. And this lesson is just as powerful as any of them. So lesson one's called A Worthy Ideal. And Earl Nightingale, Bob's mentor, said the definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So just the fact that you have goals, that puts you in the 3% club. Very few people have goals at all. If they do have goals, they don't really understand the goal setting process or the creative process of achieving goals. And so I want to congratulate just the fact that you've made a decision to get into this program and go after your goals sets you apart from most people. And as long as you're progressively realizing and moving towards your goal, then you're successful. And that's really what it is. It's just always just making a move. Somebody said last week at the Paradigm Shift in LA, just take one step every single day and move towards your goal and move towards your dream. And that's all it takes. That's success. If you're moving in the direction of your goal, you're successful. And I love that definition. So really what you got to do, I want you to use your imagination. And that's what you have to do when it comes to setting goals. In the workbook here, Bob says, imagine you have access to all the resources you'll ever need and you have anything that you want. Now, right away, as soon as I say that, your paradigm would easily instantly kick in and go, well, is that really possible? Well, the truth is you can have anything you want, but the only way you're going to ever have whatever you want is if you actually imagine it. So you got to really just get the creative process going here. So just pretend you could have whatever you wanted. What would you choose or target to begin moving towards? What would you go after? What do you really, really want? Remember, you're giving no thought to how you're going to get it, or even if you will get it. That's not what we're asking you to do right now. Your only objective in this lesson is to clearly define what it is that you do want. And the average individual's mind is so locked up with limitations that they never permit themselves to go to this mind place. And I think we're all guilty of that. And so you really got to just use the most powerful gift you got, which is your imagination, and allow yourself just to play the what if game. What if I could have whatever I wanted? What if I could do this? What if I could be this? What if I could change the world? What if I could help people? Whatever it is, play the what if game. Deciding what you want and getting what you want are two completely different subjects. So this is just deciding on what you want. It's not about how you're going to get what you want. You have to worry about that right now. All we want to talk about is how is what it is that you do want. It's really irrelevant, the how. Just know there is a lawful process for achieving your goal, and that will be clearly explained as you go through this program. And for the people in the 6 a.m. club, that's what we're doing in the morning as we go through the science of getting rich. And people for the first time reading that book are going, oh my gosh, like, wow, like they're really starting to understand there is an exact lawful process for science. Now, the first thing you got to take a look at, folks, is your beliefs. And this comes from Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. He said, there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one's ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. Closed minds do not inspire faith, courage, and belief. So the starting process for you is you have to have an open mind. Okay? There's no way that you can create a belief or change your beliefs unless you're open to taking a look at those beliefs. And so that's the first thing that we got to do, and we do this in this lesson. And so Well, so before you begin looking at the ABCs of goal setting, take a close look at your belief system or the beliefs of your group or your team. It appears there are guards that have been commissioned by a higher authority to arrest any forward progress in a person's life much beyond their level of belief. These guards take their marching orders from the belief system itself. So it's your belief system that creates the marching orders that you're following. And that's governed by the natural laws of the universe. There's no growth beyond the beliefs that are held. So you can't grow beyond the beliefs that you hold. If a person attempts to accomplish something beyond their belief level, the mind will quickly and automatically create ideas or reasons justifying why it can't be done. So you can start imagining what it is that you really want, but it could be contradictory to your beliefs. And if you start thinking about what you really want and start imagining it that's contradictory to your beliefs, then automatically those beliefs are going to create reasons justifying why it can't be done. And those ideas will continue to flow until the idea is abandoned. On the other hand, when a person or group believes something can be done, the mind automatically begins creating ideas that will pave the path to the accomplishment. So the great secret to progress then lies in belief. And so all you have to do is change your beliefs. Now, there's some questions there. He asks, like, do I have good, sound reasons for my beliefs? Do you have good, sound reasons for the beliefs that you have? Where do they come from? Would changing them improve your life? How do you go about changing your beliefs? I mean, if you're not living your life the way you want to live, you're restricted by your beliefs. So now you got to get that, okay? If you're not living the way you want to live, you're restricted by your beliefs, because the way you want to live is an inner desire trying to express itself with and through you. And if you're writing off all these reasons why you can't do it because your beliefs are contradictory, well, then what you got to do is you got to take a look at what you believe. Now, there's a great section here from Raymond Hollowell, As a Man Thinketh. He says, form clear and definite ideas regarding your convictions as to why you do as you do. Let me repeat that. Form clear and definite ideas regarding your convictions as to why you do as you do and why you think as you think. Such practice is like conducting a mental house cleaning. So you got to really take a close look. But why do you do what you do, and why do you think what you think? The practice of clear thinking tends to clarify the mind, tones up the faculties, sharpens the perceptions, and gives one a stronger and better grasp of the basic essentials for a larger and richer life. Clear and exact thinking is a very great necessity, and it is in fact a sure means to advancement on the material as well as the spiritual planes. A line of distinction, however, should be drawn between surface thought, that is ordinary, trivial, and commonplace thinking, and a real thought, which is associated with the understanding of truth. The latter is deep thinking, which arouses dormant powers, which you possess, quickens the perceptions, and leads to the enlargement of your understanding. The former, however, is but a passing phase of mental activity, while the latter governs the life of man. So Bob always says, mental activity does not constitute thinking. It doesn't mean you're thinking just because you got mental activity going on in your mind. The shallow surface thought that most of us live with, that we give to the ordinary duties and small things of daily life, it's not the thought that reforms our character, develops our mind, or changes our belief and our destiny. It's positive, deep, and penetrating thought that comes from profound and strong conviction, born of a higher perception and a clearer realization of the truth. And the truth here, as he's talking about, is the natural laws of the universe, how this all works. The surface idea is not real thought. The inner convictions which control one's aims, desires, and motives constitute the real thought of the individual and wholly determine the course of the person's life and personal destiny. So again, you've got to change your beliefs. Now, he says here, our beliefs are based on our evaluation of something. Okay, so your beliefs are based on your evaluation of situations, people. Frequently, when we reevaluate a situation, our belief about that situation will change. Check your beliefs with respect to what you think you can accomplish in your personal and business life. So you really got to check your beliefs here when you start thinking about what it is you really want. Now, what do you really want? Now, some of the key points about goals is a goal is something you're going to go after you've never done before. Okay, that's the kind of goal that you want. That's the definition of goal. A goal is designed to help you grow. It causes you to draw something from yourself that you didn't even know was there. If you know how to reach your goal, the goal is not going to do for you what goals are designed to do. If you're really going to accomplish something, you're going to need to be inspired by going after something you really want. It's going to have to come from inside. You got to pay attention to these inner desires. I was after the webinar this morning, and I was listening to the lesson about thinking in a certain way. And I put this in the Facebook or in the messenger group for the 6 a.m. club. And he said, don't describe what you see. In other words, you try to get a picture in your mind and then try to describe it in writing. You see what you describe. In other words, you entertain ideas and thoughts, and you get your pen out, and you start writing whatever's coming to you. You don't wait for the picture to come and then you write it. You just start writing, and then you start to see what it is you're describing, what it is you're writing. Okay? So you got to really take a look at what it is that you really, really want. Now, let's take a look at the creative process. There is an exact process, a creative process to how goals go from an idea, fantasy. That's really what we want you focusing on. I want you focusing on fantasy type goals, goals you've never done before, goals you have no idea how to do. They scare you and excite you all at the same time. So there's 3 kinds of goals: A goals, B goals, and C goals. A goals are goals you know how to do, and that's your present results. That's currently what you're doing. You know how to do them. That's why you're getting the results you're getting. B goals are goals that you think you can do. And those are the kinds of goals that we go after. Why? Because we're afraid to fail. What are people going to think about us? We're afraid of the risk. We're going to lose money, or, what's going to happen to my relationships, or what's going to happen to my position at work, or whatever. And so we tend to build safe goals that we think we can do. But there's no growth in that. This type of goals that you want are C-type goals. Again, goals you've never done before, fantasy type goals that excite you and scare you. It's what you really, really want. Needs-based goals, not very fun. You're going to fizzle out really, really quickly. Your energy, your enthusiasm, your excitement's going to dissipate right away. What you want to do is focus on want-based goals. I remember Bob at a seminar in LA over the lunch hour. There was a Q&A period. And one of the questions was, Bob, how do you get so much energy? And Bob says, energy comes from desire. That's where energy comes from. We have all the energy in the world that we need. It comes from desire. And so if you don't have something that you really, really want that you're going after, you're not going to have any energy or enthusiasm or excitement. Okay, so that's the kind of goal that you want to go after. Now, here's what most people do. This person here has ruled out the creative process altogether that leads to certain growth. They keep bouncing back and forth between what they know they can do and what they think they can do. So if you just keep thinking about A-type goals and B-type goals, you've ruled out the creative process right away. Like you're not even thinking at this level. Okay, you got to get up here. This is where you want to be operating from when you're thinking about your goals and what it is you really want. Now, this individual is aware there's no inspiration in B and there's no growth in A, so they ruled out A and B and moved directly to C and got involved in the creative process. So that's just a choice that you make. You decide, I'm going to think from a C-type goal perspective. I'm going to start fantasizing and start asking myself questions about what do I really, really want? And that's a great question to ask. As you're going through lesson 1, and if you've already been through lesson 1, I encourage you to go back over it and over again and do the exercise. But as you're going through lesson 1, what you're doing is you're making a list of all your wants, not your needs, but all your wants. And you start thinking about what it is you really want. And a great exercise is just to ask yourself that question every day. What do I really, really want? And just think and just wait for spirit or God to give you an answer. Now, you may not answer you right away, but then tomorrow ask the same question and just keep asking that question. Just start writing down ideas that come to you. And ideas will, if you ask questions, ideas will come to you. Okay? So this is where you want to be. You want to be operating up at this level here. Now, here's how the process works. Okay? This is the creative process. So you get a C-type goal, a fantasy, something you really, really want. Okay? And all you have to do is ask these 2 questions. Am I willing and am I able? Now, I think the able part, for the most part, for everybody, for pretty much anything, is yes, you're able, you're capable. But are you willing? Are you willing to do what it takes to get to the goal? Now, it's very common for people to go, I'm not sure I'm willing, but those are your beliefs and your paradigm kicking. So a very common one is for people, for example, want to make a lot more money. They think they have to work harder. And they have to sacrifice time with their family and being away from home and working long hours and getting a second job and whatever their beliefs are that cause them to earn money the way they earn right now. They start going, am I willing? Am I willing to do what it takes? Now, if you answer those questions in the affirmative, as soon as you answer those questions in the affirmative, right away, boom, automatically it turns into a goal. Now you've got an idea, a theory, a goal that you're shooting for. You go, am I willing? Yes. Am I able? Yes. And then all you've got to do is make the decision. As soon as you make the decision, your goal starts to becoming into form. It starts to become a fact. You start moving towards the goal, and the goal starts moving towards you. Now, you're not going to make, the goal's not going to start moving towards you until you start getting involved in one of the most important factors there is. And that is, as I flip through the book, I want to take it from the article. There's the article in the back of the book here. There's a single mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. Like, that's how quickly it can happen. In a millisecond, all you got to do is answer these two questions, and all you've got to do is make a decision. That's what it's all about. It's all about making decisions. So I want to go through the decision article with you because it's so, so powerful. Now, if you've not read this, you really should be reading this. In fact, as you go through these lessons, make sure you're reading these exercises in the workbook because they're very, very powerful. Decisions, or lack of them, are responsible for the breaking or making of many a career. Individuals have become very proficient at making decisions without being influenced by the opinion of others are the same people whose annual incomes fall into 6- and 7-figure category. Is that where you want to be? However, it's not just your income that's affected by decisions. Your whole life is dominated by this power. You can virtually eliminate conflict and confusion in your life by becoming proficient at making decisions. Decision making brings order to your mind, and of course, this order is then reflected in your objective world and your results. The person who fails to develop their ability to make decisions is doomed because indecision sets up internal conflicts that can, without warning, escalate into all-out mental and emotional wars. And you guys know what I'm talking about there. We've all experienced that. Psychiatrists have a name to describe this internal wars. It's ambivalence. The Oxford Dictionary tells us that ambivalence is the coexistence in one person of opposite feelings towards the same objective. The person who does permit it to exist will become very despondent and virtually incapable of any types of productive activity. Now, you know these people. There's people in your life that are like that. I was like that. I mean, I just couldn't make a decision. Literally, I was wandering around, felt like I was aimlessly wandering around, not really sure where I was going. It's obvious that anyone who finds himself in such a mental state is not living. At best, they're merely existing. And I got myself to a point where I just kind of got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I said, I got to change what I'm doing. I was talking to a lady earlier on the phone from New Jersey, and I was telling her about, some of you have heard this story, I was telling you about when I went down to see Bob, when I was first thinking about getting in this business, and I had all these questions typed up for him. And I got there and he had the questions printed out. And he looked at me and said, you know what your problem is? You can't make a friggin' decision. And he tore the questions up, he threw them in the garbage. And then he went at me for an hour talking about the decision process and the magic of decisions. And he was right. Everyone on occasions experiences these feelings of ambivalence. If it happens to you frequently, you got to decide right now that you're going to stop it. Indecision is the cause of ambivalence. People have become very proficient at making decisions. That they all have one thing in common. They have a very strong self-image and a high degree of self-esteem. So that could be one of the reasons why you're not making decisions quickly, is because your self-image or your self-esteem is getting in the way. And that's one thing that's going to shift very dramatically in this program, is your self-confidence. And so if that's what it is, there's a way to deal with that. Okay, don't let that have you stuck in indecision and procrastination. They may be as different as night is the day in numerous other respects, but people that make decisions quickly, they certainly possess confidence. Low self-esteem or lack of confidence is the real culprit here, he says. Decision makers are not afraid of making an error. They learn from their experience, but they will never submit to failure. Failure is only when you quit. The only way you learn is by failing, course correcting as you go. The cardinal principle of decision making is decide right where you are with whatever you've got. So right now with whatever you know, that's the way to make decisions. Boom. This is precisely why most people never master this important aspect of life. They permit their resource to dictate if and when a decision will or can be made. And so that's what we do. We think about what we want, and then we look at our resources. We look at our situation. We look at our relationships. We look at our job. We look at our responsibilities, our time, what's keeping us occupied and busy. We look at all these reasons why we can't do something, and we don't make a decision, and we procrastinate. You've heard Bob talk about Warner von Braun, and and Kennedy asked what it would take to take a spaceship to the moon. And I hear Bob say it over and over and over again, but I never really stopped to think about that statement. He asked von Braun, what would it take to send a rocket ship to space and land a man on the moon? And von Braun said, the will to do it. Because once you make a decision to do it, then the universe lines up all the resources, all the people, everything you need to lay out how to do it. The objective was accomplished in his mind. This is Kennedy. The second he made the decision, it was only a matter of time, which is governed by natural law, before the goal was manifested in the form for the whole world to see. Now, if you go back and watch the video on that, like think about that. Like they never landed a spaceship on the moon. I mean, just it never happened. We take all these things for granted, all these things that have happened by the natural laws of the universe that were propelled by a decision. We just don't think about these things. We just don't think. And we're not even paying attention to how things happen, how they get created. Whether you want to or not is the only consideration. Whatever you need to achieve your goal, you will attract. Once you make the decision, you'll find all the people, resources, and ideas you need every single time. Now, thinking is very important. Decision makers are great thinkers. Do you ever give much consideration to your thoughts, how they affect the various aspects of your life? Although this should be one of the most serious considerations, for many people, it's not. Now, you all know people that don't think. We were all like that. I wasn't thinking. You weren't thinking. There's a very small select people who actually attempt to control or govern their thoughts, and that's really what you have to do. What do you think about? We all must realize that our thoughts ultimately control every decision that we make. You are the sum total of your thoughts. The greatest stumbling block you'll encounter when making important decisions in your life is circumstance. We let circumstance get us off the hook. We should be giving it everything that we've got. More dreams are shattered and goals lost because of circumstance than any other single factor. How often do you caught yourself saying, I like to do or have this, but I can't because. I'm going to do this when. I'm going to do this when. I'm going to do this when. Right? Always throwing circumstances in our way. He talks here about vision. And there's a quote from Helen Keller: the most pathetic person in the world is a person who has their sight but has no vision. When a person has no vision of a better way of life, they automatically shut themselves in a prison. They limit themselves to a life without hope, locked in a box. This frequently happens when a person has seriously tried a number of occasions to win, only to meet with failure time after time. Repeated failures can damage a person's self-image and cause them to lose sight of their potential. They therefore make a decision to give up and resign themselves to their fate. And I know that was a case for me. And I've met many people that have gone through this program and studied this information. They were very afraid to make a decision to even do that. And they were very afraid to make decisions about what they really wanted because they had failed. It had taken a self-confidence hit or a self-image hit. And it was difficult for them to comprehend seeing outside the box. But you got to take the first step in predicting your own prosperous future. Build a mental picture of exactly how you'd like to live. Make a firm decision on how to hold that vision. Make a firm decision to hold on to that vision, and positive ways to improve everything will begin to flow into your mind. So what you've got to do is just make a decision on what it is you want, and then use the power of your will to hold that picture on your mind as often as you can and as long as you can. Now, it's very difficult in the beginning, but through the practice and the development of your will, it does get easier and you do get better. Many people get a beautiful vision of how they'd like to live, but because they cannot see how they're going to make it all happen, they let the vision go. So again, that's just lack of understanding of how the creative process works, of how you take your vision and make it a reality. You've got to start with the decision. That's the starting point. You got to decide what it is that you want, and don't worry about how you're going to get it. We're going to show you how to get it. Don't participate in discussions of why something can't be done. Abraham Maslow was devoted his life to studying self-actualized people. And he stated very clearly that we should follow our own inner guide and not be swayed by the opinion of others or outside circumstances. Follow your inner guide. Follow that quiet voice inside. Follow that desire that keeps tapping you on the shoulder, thinking about the things you'd like to be, do, and have. Stop thinking about why you can't do it. Just pay attention to what it is that you really, really want. Maslow's research showed that decision makers in life had a number of things in common. Most importantly, they did work they felt was worthwhile and important, so doing what you love. They found work a pleasure, and there was little distinction between work and play. Maslow said to be self-actualized, you must not only be doing work you consider to be important, you must do it well, and you must enjoy it. And so these performers, their values were not imposed by society, parents, or people in their lives. They made their own decisions, like their work. They chose and developed their values themselves. So again, that's the decision you have to make too. You can keep operating the way that you're operating with your current beliefs and your current level of awareness. But if you really truly want to go after what you want, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to take a look at those beliefs. You're going to reevaluate them. You're not going to let those beliefs, the influence of other people, determine what it is you do or what you're capable of doing, ruling out the very thing you want to do. Your life is important. And at its best, life is short. You have the potential to do anything you choose and to do it really, really well. But you must make decisions. And when the time for a decision arrives, you must make your decision where you are with what you've got. And I love this quote at the end here. Couple them. Decide what you want. Decide what you're prepared to give up to get it. Set your mind on it and just get on with the work. That was H.L. Hunt. And then Thomas Carlyle said, go as far as you can see. When you get there, you'll see how you can go farther. And so all you've got to do is just think about that fantasy that you want. Again, the first step in the process is just deciding what it is you want, not worrying about how you're going to get it. Once you decide what you want and make a decision you're going to go after it, then you can start thinking about ways to get it. Now remember, as soon as you make your decision, that's what you're going to do, right away, your beliefs, your paradigm are going to kick in and come up with all kinds of reasons why you can't. So you have to be aware of that. And so this whole program really is about the principles to take you from where you are to where you want to go, and shifting the paradigm that's controlling you and stopping you from doing the very thing that you want to do. So it's getting clear on where you want to go. It's understanding how to shift your paradigm. It's getting clear on how your mind works, because you've got this gift, you've got this machine that knows exactly how to get you to where you want to go. And you're the only thing that's stopping it. Now you're the operator of the machine, but you have to understand how it works. And then you got to form a self-image and start seeing yourself and acting as if like the person you want to become, living the way you want to live. And you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it. And all you got to do is believe in you. Now, maybe what you need to do is maybe you need to borrow my belief in you until you believe in you. And sometimes that's what it takes. That's what it took with me. I needed Bob to believe in me until I believed in me, because I didn't believe I could really do this. I wanted to. I believed at a conscious level, at a logical level. I thought I could do it, but I didn't really believe I could do it. And like Hill said, belief is essential. You must believe that you can do it. So you've got to take a look at those beliefs and reevaluate them. And I think when you take a look at them and realize where they came from, I think you're going to realize how much you're really capable and how much potential you really have. So that's it. Francine, are you still with us?
I am. I'm here.
Good. You're on the webinar. You're celebrating your birthday.
Oh, it's okay. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Cool.
No,
Does anybody have any questions or comments we need to address before we wrap up?
And Nick had a question. Now, she's got her hand raised here, so I don't know if you can bring her on and she can ask the question, or she types it in the chat, but
I can do both. I can allow her to talk. Let's try this and see if she can come on.
All right.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Okay, well, that was a total blonde mistake on my end. I thought raising the hand meant I'm here. So in fact, I don't have a question, although I probably have 1,000, but nothing really that's coming to mind, but really interesting to hear lesson 1.
How are you doing with your goals?
I'll be very honest, I'm so busy on trying to attain present goals that I'm really lousy on all this. I'm really not applying myself. I'm there every morning, I'm listening every night as much as I can, but I'm not really applying myself.
That's okay.
And I know that, it's not going to help me to beat myself up. So
no. The
minute this, tsunami of goals that I'm trying to reach slows down, then I'm going to start to apply myself.
Now, are the goals that you're working on now, are they A goals or B goals or C goals?
I guess they're B, leaning towards C, but not fully C. It's like between a B and a C.
B plus.
It's a B plus, Doug.
B plus. What's your C type goal? What do you really want, Annie?
I haven't really, you see, because I haven't done the work, I haven't really cleared that up, but I know that it's in the domain of what I'm doing already. So I'm just really branching out in a big way, eventually in a global way, what I teach in a classroom. That's what I'm looking to do. And even leaving the comfortable little area of Montreal and coming out to Toronto and then going to LA and trying to help actors understand that we are energy first. And I'm trying to form a new method, my own methodology based on this. So this is what I'm in the.
Now this is recorded. I want you to go back to the Facebook Live at this point of the recording. I want you to listen to what you just said. Okay. I asked you what your C-type goal was, and you said, well, I haven't really done the work, so I don't really quite know. And then all of a sudden you rifled off exactly what you wanted. You know what you want.
Yeah.
You just told me what you want. You just said you want to take a new method, a new methodology, and you want to go global with it.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes.
All right. Now we're getting somewhere. That's your goal, right?
Yes. It scares the heck out of me.
It should, but that's good. But you listen. I don't have that goal, and I bet there's 1,000 actors, hundreds of thousands of actors don't have that goal. You have that goal because that's your goal, because it's coming from inside you. That's what you want to do, and
yes.
you wouldn't have the idea unless it was a good idea or whether you're capable of carrying it out. Like God doesn't put ideas into people that you can't execute on. See, that's where we get screwed up. We get these ideas and we go, I can't do that. Well, yes, you can. You wouldn't have got the idea if you couldn't do it. Now, our belief system, our situation, our circumstances, where you are right now in your career, all kinds of different reasons are telling you why are causing you to be afraid of it.
Yes.
Because it's really big, but it's not that big actually relative to somebody else's thinking. Somebody else may think, go for it, Nate. That's a great idea. You could do that. There's a guy, I don't know if you watched The Paradigm Shift in LA or any of the previous, but there's a guy that Bob's worked with for 16 years. His name's Phil Goldfine. Have you heard of him?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Well, Phil's a great example. I mean, here he was a movie producer in Hollywood making a couple $100,000. He wanted to make $1 million. He wanted to earn an Oscar and an Emmy. And Bob said, I'll show you how to do that. And they've been working together ever since. Exactly what he showed him how to do. And the guy makes millions of dollars now. And I bet you if you talk to him about it, your idea, you go, you could do that.
Wow.
Because Phil's limiting beliefs just got, as he worked on his paradigm and his beliefs, he just stripped them away. And as he stripped them away, he got bigger and bigger and did more and more. And so
that's amazing.
It is, yeah. And sometimes I think what happens is we entertain these ideas, and very calming, like the idea is so scary, you don't even want to go into doing the work around it because it's so scary. But you have to understand the basis of the fear. And if you look at the terror barrier lesson, you hit the terror barrier with your idea. When you get emotionally involved in this idea, you get scared and you go back to the A and the B type goals where it's comfortable.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't mean you can't do it. Just because you're afraid doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means that you're afraid because you can't see how to do it.
Right.
Or you might think you're not capable of doing it. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It's just your thinking that makes it so.
Right. It's also, I think that when you have a C-type goal, there's.
So I got cut out there, Anik. Are you still there? Did we lose her? Hang on. You still there, Anik? She's still here, but I can't hear her.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you all of a sudden. Are we back?
No, now you're back. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Doug. I was just saying that sometimes when you have that C-type goal, it's something that started germinating as I was speaking to Carolyn, of course, because Carolyn's great at these feelings and seeing you objectively and believing in you and then planting the seed. And
yeah.
And I was like, yes, that's exactly it. That's it. but the I guess the overwhelm of all the things that need to be done in order to reach that goal.
Sorry, my phone's doing something crazy here. My apologies.
Sure.
The Facebook Live went on my phone.
Sure.
Carry on.
So it's seeing, I guess it's seeing the goal and seeing how far the road is and how the how much work needs to be done in order to arrive there. I guess it's the overwhelm of seeing the big picture when I know that if it went, once I apply myself on a daily basis, of course, following the course, that'll help me just look at it in increments and feel it and let it grow and let the momentum go. It's like, I understand this.
Yeah.
I understand it, but
So
yeah.
So you're getting overwhelmed by how big the goal is and how far out you perceive it to be, right?
Yeah, and well, also I if I create a methodology, I really want I would like it to be as enriching as possible. So I see the work that I need to do, and I guess it's okay. I'm very work oriented. I'm someone that loves to work because I do what I love. So it's all good. But yeah, there's overwhelming in, I'd say, different files and different departments.
Yeah. So you're overthinking it.
Right.
And which is very common, and you're trying to see, all the steps. But what you have to understand is how your mind works. So your mind's much like a GPS, and your job is to put the target into your GPS, and then your mind, your GPS will then calculate the route. And your job is to follow direction and start moving. And like when you start a GPS, you don't get directions on where to go until you start what?
Until you put the information in.
Well, no, you put the address in first, and it tells you how long it's going to take you, and then you hit get directions. Let's say on an iPhone, but you don't. It doesn't start telling you where to go until you start moving.
Right.
Then it gives you your instructions.
Right.
And if you run into a roadblock or an obstacle, you turn left or you turn right, it automatically what?
It tells you another route.
Recalculates the route. That's right.
Right.
Now, what it doesn't do is it cannot predict how to overcome a roadblock or an accident or an obstacle 10 miles down the road that might happen. And that's what you're doing. That's what we do. We're trying to think, okay, what if this happens? And what about this? What about that? And we try to see the whole way, but you can't see the whole way, because the truth is you have no idea how you're going to get to the goal. Okay, you look at this picture on the screen. You have no idea how you're going to get to the goal. The goal never changes, but the plan is constantly changing, constantly. It's never going to go the way you think you're going to go. Your job is just to get in the vehicle, that's you, and start moving, and then follow instructions. And your mind, it's a machine. It has the ability to overcome any obstacle, over any roadblock, and automatically seek out the target and hit the target. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's having faith in how your mind works. And so, I didn't have that before, because I was very much, well, similar to you maybe, I suppose, but very analytical. I'd see all the steps. And if I couldn't see how it was all going to go, I wouldn't move. And so I didn't really understand the power of decision, because again, until you put the address into the GPS and hit calculate the route, you're not going to be told where to go until you decide you're going.
Right.
And then even when I made a decision, started moving, if I couldn't see things, I would get stuck really easily. But now I understand how it works. So I have absolute faith in my C-type goal that I'm going to hit the goal, because I know my mind is going to figure out how to get me there, as long as I stay focused and keep my eyes on the road and where I'm going. So your only job is to decide where you're going, and then just get moving. Just take a step, like just one day, take a step, and then tomorrow get up and take another step, and just keep doing that. And very soon you'll get momentum, and you'll find actually how easy this is and how quickly it goes. It's not as complicated and as long and as big as you think it is. In fact, when you connect the dots on any goal you've ever done, you kind of go, that wasn't that big of a deal.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But when we don't know how to do it, and we're looking at our current situation, circumstance, it's very easy, again, he said it here. Let me just repeat this, because it's worth repeating. Where'd it go here? If a person attempts to accomplish something beyond their level of belief, the mind will quickly and automatically create ideas or reasons justifying why it can't be done, and those ideas will continue to flow until the goal is abandoned. So that's what we do. So, and I think you're doing it backwards. I don't think you have to do the course to figure this out. I think you just make a decision. I'm going after it. And like we talked about this morning, start thinking in a certain way, start writing out a picture, get that picture crystal clear by writing, and then use thinking the results, the tools in it to help you get on your way and get you going and keeping you going. And when you hit the roadblocks and obstacles, use the tools in this program to keep you moving along your path. And you can do it. You can do it.
That's fantastic. Well, then I shall, I really shall look at all of that. I'm going to.
Don't look at it. Just make a decision.
Make it, yeah.
That's it. It's that simple. All you do is listen, Anik, get your pen out.
Yeah.
Bob tells the story. He goes, I sat down in a living room in Glendale, Illinois, and I wrote on a piece of paper I was going to open a company that operated all over the world. He goes, I was all alone. I was in business for myself. I had nobody. I was sitting alone in that living room. And I wrote on a piece of paper, I'm going to operate a company that operates all over the world. Just get your pen out and make a decision. I am going to create a new methodology for acting that's going to go all around the world. That's it. And then make a commitment. You're going to shift your paradigm to make that happen. That's all you do. Make a decision like that. It's that simple.
It's true.
It is. So make a decision.
It's true, because I keep going between total excitement and then total fear.
Yeah. Well, you might want to take. Have you watched the Terror Bear lesson yet?
No.
Well, I would go watch that then. In fact, I want you to watch that tonight when you get off the call. It's not a very long one. Just watch it. And we're going to ask you about it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay. You have to understand what's causing the fear and what's causing you to stay in the comfort zone. And that's what it takes. Just when you understand the fear, you go, oh. And then now you know it's a terror bear. You're not going to stop, but you know why you're uncomfortable. You need to be aware of that, and that'll help you. So, all right?
All right, Doug.
Let's go,
Fantastic.
lady. Carolyn's on the call here. You're on the hook, lady. All right. Thanks, Annie.
Carolyn writes in the chat, yes.
Yes, yes.
Go for it.
All right, cool. Thanks. Anything else, Francine, before we go?
Let me just check the Facebook. I was having some connection issues, so let me just check here if there's anything that I might have missed. I don't see any questions here.
All right, no problem. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for being on the call, and thanks for being on Facebook Live. And if you're watching the recording of Facebook, hope that you get something out of this. And for you 6 a.m. club members, we'll see you tomorrow morning. It's been a great couple of weeks so far. I'm really, really enjoying it. So, and it was really fitting what we were studying this morning versus what we're covering here in tonight's lesson. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for being on the call, Francine, on your birthday.
Yeah, thank you, Doug.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
See you,
you,
everybody.
and thank you, Doug,
My pleasure.
for teaching us.
All right.
Yeah,
See you. Have a good
thank
night.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.